Hello and welcome to WBS3. WBS3 is all about project estimating. So when we estimate projects, one thing to get straight in the very beginning is that all estimates are wrong. They're all wrong to a certain degree. The fact is, the more time, effort, resources you spend on developing an estimate, the more accurate it's going to be. But the time, money, resources you spend on estimating eats into time that you would otherwise be spending on completing your project. So the irony is, when your estimate becomes perfect or almost completely accurate, you've spent a lot of time and the effort, and it may be too late to make a decision. Now, the earlier you make your estimate with very little resources spent, maybe you're just applying expert judgment or basing it on experience, you're going to have a lot more inaccuracies on your estimate, but the good news is that you'll have it sooner. And so that's valuable in and of itself. Okay, so you will be exposed to terms like ROM estimating, rough order of magnitude. The rough order of magnitude estimate explains why an early estimate makes sense, because you as the project manager or the project sponsor or the client may need to know, is this a $10,000 project, a $100,000 project, a $1 million project? An early estimate can tell you that. It may not be able to tell you that much more, but it can at least tell you that. Okay, so you've heard of also that term analysis paralysis. This is what happens when you spend so much time and effort to make that accurate estimate. The moment is past and maybe it's too late to start on that project. This is what can happen when your estimate becomes too perfect. But this is also why a new type of estimating really became popular, and that's rolling wave estimates. In this type of estimating, you don't attempt to estimate the entire project. You break the project into phases. You estimate one phase, then you start on that one phase, and as you're working through the initial phase, then you will learn more about what's to come, and then you can estimate the next phase and then move forward step by step. We're also going to look at other types of approaches to estimating. For example, top-down versus bottom-up estimates. Top-down estimates is typically what you get from management. Management is concerned that you stay within a particular budget, so the project fits within a given business model. Bottom-up estimates usually come from project team members. They're the people who actually have to do the work, and they don't want to run out of funding, so they want to make sure they estimate it in detail. Usually, bottom-up estimates are much higher than top-down estimates, and so a lot of negotiation ensues. I can remember at a time when I was working in Panasonic, I went to a budget meeting preparing to budget for projects for the upcoming year, and there was a new person who joined the team from the Japan operation who had been working on TVs, VCRs, DVD players. These were much smaller level of product development costs. Those were in the 5 to 10 million range. Whereas cell phones, because of the huge volume of software at the time, as we're breaking new ground to move into the smartphone era, these projects were in the 50 to 100 million plus range. And the guy was looking at this smartphone and saying, well, you know, this is small. It's even smaller than a DVD player or a VCR or a TV. How could that be so expensive? These projects should cost only $5 to $10 million, not $50 to $100 million. You guys are sandbagging us. So we came in and showed a lot of bottom-up detail and said, thank you very much for telling us how much this should cost. Now let me tell you how much this actually costs. So you could see estimates and the debates between the top-down and bottom-up approach to estimating can cause a lot of friction. There's a lot of room for negotiation. Hopefully at some point you meet somewhere in the middle. The team who estimated from the bottom up might say, okay, if you want us to bring it down, we can eliminate some deliverables. Then management will say, no, we need those deliverables, or at least most of them. Maybe you could strike a happy medium. But in any case, WBS3 is all about estimating. So let's get started, and I'll see you in the discussion threads. Be sure and let me know your questions or issues.